Well, hello there, and welcome to Wicked Workflows with me, Jen Giffen. I can be found on social media at Virtual GIF on Twitter and Instagram and even TikTok, although I'm not super active there yet. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm coming to you live and direct. Well, not really live, recorded and direct from just north of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I am a teacher librarian, an ed tech specialist, a podcaster, a sketchnoter. I'm a Google certified educator, trainer, and innovator, and of course, a very, very proud Shake Up Learning trainer. And I'm excited to be here with you today to talk Wicked Workflows. What is this workshop, you might be asking? It sounded kind of cool. It has the tagline, tips and tricks for the lazy. If you are someone who appreciates every little nanosecond that you have in your life, right, all of those can add up so you can do even more great stuff, then this is the session for you. I'm going to show you some of the tricks and tips that I use that's come into my workflow over my years dealing with ed tech and just working on computers as a former digital literacy consultant, and through the work that I've done with a few different agencies, including right here with Shake Up Learning. And these are things that make my life a little bit easier. There might be some things that you find that you're like, oh yeah, that's awesome, I'm going to do that. And there's other things you might be like, hey, I have a better workflow for that, I don't need it. And that's totally fine. I'm going to show you what I do, and hopefully you can pick up a trick or two to help you be a little bit more productive than you might already even be, if that's possible. So let's start off with my number one. I do a lot of work in Google. And the one thing that happens is you often might have multiple Chrome accounts, right? So it might be you have your personal Gmail and you have, your work Google account. You may have children or a partner who uses your computer. You have a shared device and everyone's logging on, and you might often run into this, right? You need access and you feel like flipping desks like my Bitmoji there, because you're like, I shouldn't require access. It is my file, Google. Why are you saying that I don't have access to this? Chances are it's because you haven't signed in properly. Let me show you what I mean. All right, I'm going to come over here to my Wicked Workflows. Okay, this is my slide deck as you see it. And I'm in here and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I'm in my Shake Up Learning account, but it says I have view only access there. Why is this happening? I'm going to tell you why it's happening. Because I'm not signed in properly. Have a look at that top right-hand corner and notice that there's two avatars, right? There's a picture of me with a sort of teal colored background. And then there's a picture of me that has like Google colors around it, like as a border, and it looks like there's a brick wall behind me. The reason that is because it's two separate accounts. If I click on the bottom picture, the bottom profile picture, you'll see I'm actually not logged into my Shake Up Learning account. I'm logged into my Gmail. And why is that a problem? Because I shouldn't be, because this is my work with Shake Up Learning. So I don't want to be there. As soon as I click this, it'll open in a new tab. And lo and behold, I have editing access. Here's the thing, my friends. You never, 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 never want to have two pictures that don't match. See how they're matching now, the same background? So what do I do if I have all these things? Well, here's what's happening. Remember when I clicked this picture and I got those two separate accounts? It's probably because when someone's logged on your computer, you, or again, someone you might share the device with, they've clicked add another account here. That is not how you want to do it. So your first step in cleaning up your accounts so that you don't get that blasted access denied screen anymore is you're going to sign out of all of your accounts. Okay, you're just going to completely sign out of your accounts. Synced is paused. You're going to sign in again. Okay, we're going to verify it's me. You're going to go through all of this. Should be good. You're going to type in your password. We signed out of all of them. We're now back in. I'm happy. And if you look here, when I click this now, I have this, but I don't want it. So what can I do? I'm going to click here and I'm going to say remove. Okay, I'm going to say remove, completely remove this. I don't want it. And you're going to do that for every single account that's there so that you don't have any other accounts. And now you might be like, but hold on a second, Jen, hold on a second. That's great and all, but I have other people who use this device. Like it's a shared device, maybe between, maybe it's your kids or your students who have this issue. Here's how you have to do it instead. Never log in on the tab here, that bottom picture. Don't do that. Instead, I want you to go up to the top profile picture. I want you to click it. And you'll notice I have a whole bunch of different accounts here. What are these accounts? These accounts are all accounts of other people who have access to Chrome. So when I want to flip, let's say instead I don't want to be in Shake Up Learning, I want to go check my, my virtual GIF account. When I click this, look what happens. It doesn't open a new tab like you saw before. It opens a whole new window. Okay, and you're like, oh, well, why is this cool? Because now I'm not going to get that cross-contamination. Anything that's opened here is going to be my Jen at Virtual GIF. Anything that's opened over in this blue one over here is going to be my Shake Up Learning. So what you do is very easily, I could also open my GAPS is my school Google account. I can open that. I can very easily toggle between. And it's a really easy thing to train. I trained my own kids when they were in the second grade, really started in with Google. And I said, here's what you need to do when you use mommy's computer if you ever have to, before they had their own Chromebooks. And they, no problem, were able to jump in and do that, right? So that's what you want to do. Click that top. In order to add someone new, you're going to click add. It's going to say, okay, sign into your new Chrome profile. And you're going to sign in. You are going to type in the email. Once you have your email, you'll hit next. It'll ask you for the password, and then it's going to open a whole new window. So here's another little side tip. Okay, so when I'm super visual, and I'm like, oh, I really need to make sure that I know which account I'm in, and I need to look. So you'll notice that Shake Up Learning, that account, is this teal color, like the logo for Shake Up Learning. You'll notice that my own personal is a purple color, right? This is my Jen at Virtual GIF. If I go into my Gmail, it's an orange color, right? All great stuff. How do I do that? Simple. What you're going to look for is Chrome themes. So I'm just going to type Chrome themes in my Omni bar, right in that search bar up there, and it will take me, my first hit will be to the Chrome Web Store. From here, you can click on, and it will say, okay, here's some themes for you. I tend to do this by color. I know that, my district colors are red, white, and black. So I used red. I know if I have a red background at the top there, I'm in my school account. I know if I have this blue background, I'm in my Shake Up Learning. So you can go through any of these, right, and be like, okay, yeah, navy is the cool color here. It's for my school. I want to do that. You simply click the color you want, click add to Chrome, and it will automatically change the color. And it's a really quick visual way for you to streamline so that you don't try to open a document or a file in one Chrome profile and get denied access because you're in the wrong place. So that is my very first tip for you. Okay, clean up Chrome, friends. Make sure your pictures match, remove the ones, and then personalize with themes. If you want to share this, if you find that there's other people in your life who are like, yes, I need this, you can, of course, share what I've shared here, or Casey Bell, the wonderful Casey Bell, that the head of our Shake Up Learning team has instructions there from a few years ago, including a video to walk you through how to do this. The user interface is slightly different for Google, but you'll be able to figure it out, no problem. That's tip number 1. If you're better with sort of screenshot stuff, here's how you do it on a PC, and here's how you do it on a Mac. All right, depending on what platform you're using, your instructions are there. The second thing I want to talk about are Chrome extensions, and there's absolutely no way I could do a session about workflow and streamlining the workflow, right? Tips and tricks for lazies, without talking about extensions. If you haven't used extensions before, there's small software programs that customize your browsing experience, right? What that means is I call these the gremlins in your computer. They're like little things that work in the background to make processes a little bit more simple for you. Okay, they give functionality to Chrome that may not be there otherwise. So I want to walk you through 7 different tools that I use that I think are really awesome. The first one is Switcher, and I use Switcher in order to manage my extensions. You can get any of these extensions by visiting the slide deck. This is on the slide that says, Chrome extensions, and you can click the name here of the extension. So I click Switcher, and it will take you to the Chrome store. They're all going to do this. And when you arrive here, I already have it installed, so it will ask me to remove it, but it'll say something here like add to Chrome. It'll show you how many people use it. It will give you, the rating for it, and then it'll give you some information, an overview, and some screenshots. This is why I love Switcher. It's called Extension Manager Switcher. You'll notice that all of my extensions are up on the right of the URL bar. They're all up here. So here's Switcher. I can click Switcher, and it will show me, when I have all and nothing in the filter here, it will show me all of the extensions I have installed for this account. The thing with extensions is they do make your life a lot easier, but with a lot of them installed, they can slow down Chrome or chew up your battery. And we don't want that. So there might be some that you're like, yeah, I never really use that one, like custom cursor, for example. Like, I'm not using it. I can just turn it off, right? Same with, let's say I don't want Color Pick Eyedropper. I can turn it off. And look what happened. I want you to pay attention up here, just above. When I click it and turn it on, it's there again. When I turn it off, it's gone. Now, you're only going to see that on ones that I've pinned. If you have extensions that are installed, see how many I have. If they're not here and pinned, if you click the puzzle piece, all of them will be there. If you want it to show up, like IORAD, let's say I want it to show up, I can pin it. You can also click the 3 little dots, which I call Timbits, because that's what we call donut holes here in Ontario and Canada. And it can tell you a little bit about like removing it from Chrome or unpinning it, etc. Okay, these are things you can do. But I love Switcher for this reason. First of all, I can turn them on and off really easily, right? I don't need to uninstall and reinstall them. If I'm like, oh, it's taking up a lot of my battery. I just turn it off, right? It's like, okay, turn off the lights, off I go. The other thing I can do is I can play with the settings right in it, and I can delete it. I also love that it doesn't only tell me the name of the extension, it gives me an idea of what the extension does. So for example, Color Pick Eyedropper, a zoomed eyedropper and color chooser that allows you to select color values from web pages and more. Okay, great. So if I've installed something that I forget what it is, this helps. And same with the filters. If I write something like the word easy, it'll find the word easy not only in the name of the extension, but also in the description. So sometimes, the name doesn't always match. You're like, oh, it's something to do with Google Slides. Oh, what the heck is it? And you're like, oh yeah, right, Google Slides, amazing, there it is. So off we can go there. I love, love, love this to be able to manage really quickly and make sure that I have maximum functionality and productivity in my extensions. That is Switcher. The next one I love is Tab Resize. So often I'm doing something where I might want to watch a video and take notes, or I need a split screen of some sort, right? I'm watching students do videos for presentations, and I want to be able to type notes in the side in Google Classroom, for example. Tab Resize allows me to split my screen really easily. And I know there's a lot of programs that have this functionality, but I just find that the ease of use of this extension is awesome. So Tab Resize is this blue one up here. All I need to do is be on the website I want on the left-hand side of my screen, or the top left, and I can choose. Do I want to turn it into a 2x2 grid? Do I want them up and down? Do I like side by side, or just have one tab altogether? I like the side by side. This is the one I use the most. So I can say, okay, yep, good. Let's do side by side. And it will take the one that I'm on and put on the left-hand side of the screen and the other one on the right-hand side of the screen. Awesome. Now I can do, read this and take some notes if that's what I was doing. To undo it, you simply go back into that extension and click undo. And it glues it all back together. So there's no dragging and dropping and resizing, which is also really helpful, right? Now, there's a lot more that Tab Resize can do, but and you probably saw that when I clicked here, right? There's a lot more. It's like, oh, here's these settings, and what about empty tabs and single tabs, and what does this mean? There's a lot you can play around with, but this is what I use it for, is that side by side when I need that really quickly. Screencastify is one you probably know and love already. So if I click Screencastify here, it will take us there. And if you've done any kind of remote learning, I imagine you have indeed done some work with Screencastify for screencasts. It's free. You can add it to Chrome simply by going to screencastify.com. You're going to click their button there, and it will say, hey, it'll take you to the web store. Awesome. And you can add this to Chrome. So I can add it to Chrome. And it'll take a minute. It'll check it. It'll say, hey, do you want to do this? And I say, yeah. I'm going to add the extension. You're going to see it's going to pop up really quickly here beside the puzzle piece once it downloads the CRX file. And there it is. So I'm going to right click it while it's there and pin it. Otherwise, it would have disappeared into that puzzle piece. And now when I'm ready to do something, like let's say I want to start a screen recording, I simply click on the extension and it will pull up some information. The first time you use it, it's going to do this. It's going to say, hold on, let's sign in. Let's sign in with your Google and make sure that, you link it, because it's going to save all of my screencasts to a folder called Screencastify in my drive. So I say, yeah, I want to link it to this one. It'll tell me what it does. I'm going to allow it. In this case, it's going to create a folder and then put all of my recordings into that folder. It says, okay, yeah, I'm going to agree to all of this. And I'm not going to get them to send me emails because I get them somewhere else. And I'll tell them I'm a teacher. In my case, I'm 912. You finish, and that's the setup. It's really that simple. So here it is loading up. And you want to make sure you enable your webcam and your mic. You allow that. Otherwise, of course, you won't work. And at this point, we should, enable editing tools. Yes, you want to also do that. Good to go. You're all set. You can close this page. And so we're back here. So if I wanted to record again, I would click on the Screencastify extension logo. We're going to get a little pop-up here. Here it comes. And I can say, okay, just do this tab. Just record my whole desktop. Only my webcam. I can turn on the webcam so I would be like in the corner of one of my recordings. It says, okay, which mic do you want to use? And I'll say, okay, I'm going to use my fancy mic that I have here. I'm going to turn my webcam on just for that and make sure I have the right camera here. I want it to be camera. There it is, my FaceTime camera. And I'm going to start recording. There I am down in the corner. It's going to find me. I'm going to say, yeah, let's do this. And I'm going to share it. And I'll say, here it counting me down. And so here I am. I'm recording my screen. It's amazing. There's a whole bunch of things I can do. Like I can use this pen. So if I wanted to draw attention to something in my screencast, that works. I can clear it out really quickly. I can add stickers in here. So if I'm like, oh, you guys are going to love this one. Look at this. It's love. And it works as a little stamp. I love all of these. So I can annotate in that way, which is great. I can go back here again. I can use just an eraser. I can make sure that my mouse is highlighted so that I can focus on it, or I can have fireworks. So whenever I click somewhere, oh, look, see, oh, I did a little firework to show you that I went forward. And so there's a lot you can do in the free version. The free version, if I'm not mistaken, allows you to record up to 5 minutes long. And really a screencast over 5 minutes is really long. When you're all done, you can hit the stop button here and it will stop. And notice it opens into a new tab. Why does it do that? Because it's going to take me to my recording. So yay, I made my first video. And you can say take the tour if you want. I'm going to skip the tour. At this point, I can trim the beginning or the end if I don't want to talk about certain things. Like I might say, oh, I don't want any more than this. This is good. Sort of talked about things. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to save that trim. Yep, trim it permanently. That's amazing. I love that it starts to play and it automatically mutes, so you just don't start hearing your voice right away. I think that's great. It will name it Untitled and the date and the time. So I might rename that Chrome Extensions. I'm a long holder on those, on my shift key there. So I can get that. I can also copy a shareable link, which will automatically take my video and share it so that when I can copy and paste this like into an email or into Google Classroom to show people around. I can download it. I can export it as a movie. I can take the audio only. If it's really short, I can make animated GIFs. So if you've been watching anything by Jake Miller through this series, you'll know that he loves to create animated GIFs, and he has EduGIFs. This is one of the programs you can use to do that. There is an unlimited version if you want to pay a little bit. I think it's like $48 for a year, and you might want to check into that. But I find it's quite robust on its own. You can also open this in the editor, which is something else I really like. Again, all of this are really ways to streamline. So for me, I used to use this all the time when students were away and I was explaining how to do something. Like, oh, I have 3 students away today. I don't want to have to go through this with them again and forget something that I told this class. So what are we going to do? We are going to, when I'm explaining to the students, I just open this and I start recording, and then I can share the video with them. And it also helps for students who maybe like, I'm already lost and need to watch it a few times. So it's very rare that I'll show students how to do something, especially with tech, without having a Screencastify video. There's also this. You can add videos and stuff to your project. We're getting little things. You can make edits on the timeline. You can crop and zoom. Okay, finish it, you can export it, and you can get to trimming, yay. And this allows you to do a little bit more. You can zoom and you can blur. And this is a Screencastify editor. If you go to edit.screencastify.com, you can put not only your videos that you've created in Screencastify, but you can actually upload videos from other places if you're looking for a really like low floor, not too robust, but free video editor. So you can do a lot with this. At this point, I can now say, okay, that's good. I'm all good, beautiful, beautiful. And if I go looking for it, I'm going to come back into my Google Drive. And I should now, if I update it, I'm not in my full drive. I'm in one of my folders. Give me 1 second here, folks. I'm going to go to Google Drive, and you should now see inside my drive itself, I'm going to click it 400 times so it gets there, that I now have a folder called Screencastify that was created automatically. And when I click into here, there is my Chrome extensions video. That easy. So I love Screencastify for this. It helps you capture new learning. If you're a coach watching this or admin, I used to have certain teachers that I would go to all the time, and they're like, Jen, I just feel so overwhelmed. I automatically would install this for them. And then whenever I was there, because I worked at 13 different schools, and whenever I was there to help, I'd say, you know what? I know that tomorrow you're going to have questions and you're going to be reticent to call me because you might be a bit embarrassed. So let's just open Screencastify, and then you can hear me in my voice telling you how to do this. And if they have questions through the process, it captures that too through the microphone. So it's a really good way for teachers too, when they're learning new tools or procedures on tech to be able to do things. So I love Screencastify for that. Clipboard History is pretty amazing. Clipboard History is this one up here. You see it says 157 underneath it. That's because it's remembered the last 157 things that I have copied and pasted. So these are all different things that I have copied and pasted over today, right? It keeps all of them. If I wanted to, like for this, let's say I'm like, oh, I really like this, I want to remember. I can hit this little star to favorite it. I can click the pencil, and I can actually rename this. So I can say like presentation slide deck. Oops, it's not going to let me edit text. There we go. I'm going to say presentation slide deck. Okay. I'm going to save as new. Okay, good. I'm going to copy this. Now look what happens though. Look what happens. If I come in here, it's just going to remember what I actually put. So that may not be something that you want to do. When you edit it, it keeps saying me like, do you only want to keep them because it, can affect the performance of the thing. So I might be like, oh, you know what? That's actually, I didn't actually want to do that. So it shows that it was edited. So you might get certain things that you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to edit this and I don't want this or I want that. But notice what happens here. It saved it. If I want to go to my favorites, I come in there and it shows me the last few things that I've done. Why do I love this? Because let's say I'm sharing a slide deck again and again. You're doing something virtually, and I've been typing things. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to go back really quickly and try to find that really long URL or whatnot. I can just click here and then paste it into a chat or go into that new window and paste it. As soon as you click it, it copies it to your URL. And this will take me to, my favorite Chrome extensions. Awesome. So Clipboard History is awesome for anything. Anytime that you especially have those like again and again. It's like if you ever filled out a form where it's like, I have to copy this in the first part and the second and the third. I wish I could just copy 1, 2, 3, but it's 3 separate fields. You can then save these beautiful to be able to paste again and again. It's also great for if you have like you're using student feedback. If you sort of say the same thing constantly to students in feedback or like an email and you don't have canned responses, this is another thing you can do. You can save some of those like really commonly typed out things that you use right here in Clipboard History Pro to be able to have easy and quick access to them. The other one that I use is Voice in Typing. And this allows you to use your voice on websites. Now, I don't have it installed on this account, but I'm going to show you really quickly what it looks like from the Chrome Web Store. Voice in Typing allows voice typing on every page that has a place for you to type. So I use in Google Docs, like if I go into a Google Doc, let's see, do I have editing on this one? If I start a new document, I want to start talking, if I want to start getting ideas out, often my brain is working a lot faster than my fingers can type. Right? When I'm typing, I make tons of typos, like my fingers don't really know where to go. So I often will go to tools, this is another little hack, And I, of course, choose. Oh, it's not there yet. We got to wait. I got to be a bit more patient. Okay. I'll let you load Google Docs. I choose. Are you there? There it is, voice typing. So I click voice typing and I click this, and any words that I say will automatically be typed in my Google document. And I think this is awesome, period. But we don't have this feature everywhere. So if I'm in Google Classroom, for example, and I'm trying to leave feedback for one of my students, what happens? I'm like, oh, okay, I have to type. And especially if I'm doing something where I'm like watching a video of theirs and I get all these ideas right away, and I might get ahead of myself and forget things I want to say. So I want a way to type anywhere. And this is where voice in typing comes in. Okay, it's dictation everywhere. It looks like this. Do we have it? No, it doesn't. Oh, it doesn't have it. So it'll be a little red microphone up at the top. And as soon as you click it, when your cursor is in a text box, you can start talking and it starts typing. And it picks up everything. Like, it is so good. It's awesome. This is actually it's a freemium. So it allows you to type in certain boxes, and other times it'll be like, hey, no, we can't type in this one. So it opens another little box and you type and copy and paste in there. And there's a whole bunch of features in the premium that sort of level you up. And for $25 a year, I used it last year when I was teaching virtually because I was on the computer so much. And sometimes I just wanted to sit with my eyes closed and like get off the screens, but I still wanted to give the feedback. Voice in typing is awesome if you're someone who loves to do that voice to text dictation. It's awesome. Okay. WebPaint is another one. If you're doing any kind of work virtually, be it with teachers or with students, or you're creating screencasts of any type, WebPaint is awesome. It allows you to annotate any website. So I don't think I actually have it installed on this account. So let's go ahead and install that together. Oh, they changed their logo. They changed their logo since last week. Literally last week, it was a different logo. Isn't that funny? I like the new logo. It's cute. So I'm going to add the extension, and this allows you to annotate any website that you're on, and then it even lets you take a screenshot of that annotation you did. So here you go. You can draw it. You can annotate it. It's amazing. Let's install the extension. Sounds good. I think I already did that though. I'm going to come down and see if I actually did. I did. So I went to my little puzzle piece there, and I'm going to scroll down and say, yep, WebPaint. Let's pin that up here. So I'm going to come into here. Let's say I wanted to annotate this. Now, I can't really annotate it because it gets a Google Slides that's in preview mode, but I'm like, oh, I want to show certain things. I just click on this. Oh, they've totally changed the user interface. It's so much more slick. I love it. So you'll see that there's pencils, there's color eyedroppers. You can do text, lines, arrows, curves, really swervy curves, different shapes, right? Arrows itself. So if I click this arrow, I can be like, oh, you know what? I want you to, oh, no, go back. You know what? I'll just come in here. So I can come in here and be like, let's look at this. You're like, oh, I don't really like that color. I don't like the size. I can move the size up here. I can change the color. Right? And I can be like, okay, I want to do it in purple. Yeah, it's a nice color there. So now I'm going to come and say, I really want everyone to install this one first. So have a look here, what's going on, right? I love this because we can use our voice. Love that. That's supposed to be a heart. It's kind of a bad heart, but you get it. You can set up, those are your settings, so you can create hotkeys so you can quickly turn them on. And I use this an awful lot in teaching secondary English this year, because we did a lot of annotation, right? We talked about things. I'm like, well, what do you think about this? And I would ask questions. And normally I would point when I was at a board, or we would go around in groups. And because we were virtual, that couldn't happen. I also love that I can now take a screenshot of that. And it will say, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to download it, print it, copy your clipboard, crop it, or set as your background, whatever? So often I would just say, okay, let's download this. And then I could, just open that up and then share that annotation anywhere I want. It's also really great for students. If they're looking to annotate text or show things, they can also install this if it's allowed by your administrator. Okay, so at this point, I am going to close that down. I am going to go back here. Sorry, but the page is not recorded. Okay. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, because it's opened my screenshot. That's why. So I'm back here. And if I'm all done, I'm like, okay, I want to clear everything out. No problem. We can simply go to, where did it go? The trash can. And it erases everything. So really great tool for any kind of annotation. And then, of course, to close it down, we're just going to click this leave button. Off I go. That is Web Paint. IORAD is the last one that I want to show you. I love IORAD for creating any kind of tutorial that I want to show students how to do something like click, 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 really easy, but not necessarily me talking. Let's say I have certain steps in my learning commons, like how to check out a book or how to find a book, locate in our directory. This is something that I might use for that. So in IORAD, I'm just going to open another, I'm going to go back to my untitled document here, and I'm going to click the IORAD button. And what this does is it allows me, let's say I want to teach you how to use voice to text. I click IORAD. I could sign into it. Might be a good idea if I want to. So I'll sign in with Google. That way it saves them all in a local place, right? That way you're not like, oh gosh, where did that one go? So let's sign up here with my email and do that password again. So here I am. I'm logged in. You can see my thing there. I'm going to capture. That's all I'm saying. It says, okay, before you capture, close your non-essential tabs if you want to. I don't. Perform actions slowly. Click the blinking extension to finish. Okay, no problem. I'm going to start. It's going to count me down. I'm going to say, okay, in order to voice type, what would I do? I would go to Tools. I would say Voice Typing. I would click. I would say the words I want to say. I would click again. And that's it. So I'm going to click the one that's flashing. It says, okay, do you want to restart, resume, are you done? I'm done. Now, again, it opens a new tab. Look at all these tabs I have. Holy tabitis. We're going to talk about tabitis and how to manage those multiple tabs in a second. Here it comes. It's processing. This is pretty cool. So it says, okay, here's what you did. What did you do? The first step is to open, and I don't want to say necessarily, I'm just going to say a Google Doc and click Tools. Now, if I wanted certain things highlighted in a color, I can make it pink. If I don't want it pink, I come down here and I click it and it unpinks it. There we go. So that's the first thing. Now, if there was something that was really personal that I didn't want people to see in here, you could always mask content. So I could blur or pixelate or make it white, which I also love if you're sharing like how to do something in email and you don't want them to see emails. You can add steps between, you can duplicate them. But at this point, I'm going to say, okay, well, what was the next step I did? And it said, okay, next, type voice typing. That's what I did. I don't know why that V's there, so I'm going to take it out. And then start dictation. Yeah. And I might add here by clicking the microphone icon on the left. I might, turn some of these. Microphone icon. Start dictation, clicking microphone icon. Good. That's, my short term. Good. I can come in here and I'd say start dictation, or I could say start speaking. I'm not really doing anything here, so I'm not going to make that. And then finally, that's it. You're done. But is it? No, you're like, no, it's kind of not, right? There's another step there that I clicked it again to turn it off. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say add step. Oh, no, that's not what I want to do. I'm a liar. I'm a liar. Back. I don't want to add a step because I can do the same thing. I'm going to say duplicate this step. So it says start speaking. Let's go back one. And then we're going to say click the microphone icon to stop recording. I spell microphone properly. I change those. Click the microphone icon. Stop recording. Beautiful. And then I go to the last one. That's it. You're done. So let's preview and finish this. It asks me, do you want to add speech to text? Well, yeah, sure. For accessibility, of course I do. Watch what happens. Ready for it? Here we go. Is it going to go? Oh, I didn't say yes here. Sorry. It's generating my auto. Hold on. Here we go. It's preparing it. Now, start.
The first step is to open a Google Doc and click Tools.
Okay.
Click Voice Typing. Click Start Dictation by clicking the microphone icon on the left. Start speaking. Click the microphone icon to stop recording. That's it. You're done.
Boom. Okay, all good. So I'm going to complete. And now, if I wanted to show someone, if someone's like, how do you do this? Especially when you're not with them, I can come in here. I might at this point rename it too. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to, I always forget for this one. It is, edit title. Yeah, that's very good. How to use voice typing in Google Docs, right? Not voice typing, voice typing. Awesome. I'm going to hit save. And at this point, I can share it. I say, okay, well, I'm going to copy. Oh, no, go back. I'm going to copy this. So if I sent it to someone and if I copied it and I send it to someone, you will see what happens here is, I was kind of impatient. It popped up to see what happened there. I was impatient. It says, okay, well, here you go. And this would send it to them. And you go, okay, great.
The first step is to open a Google Doc and click Tools.
And it will walk them totally through it. So that's called IORAD. It's a really amazing tool for creating short tutorials. And if you install it, you'll notice when you go to things like, is this one open? When you come into Google Slides, it should, hold on, let me look here if I go here. Yeah, it'll say, okay, Slides. Hey, you're in Google Slides. Do you want to learn how to do these things? You might be like, yeah, how do I add a text box? IORAD has built in and is starting to build in, and I know this because I'm an ambassador and I've helped create some of these. It's starting to build in how to do certain things in Google. The tutorials are being built right in for you in the program. So it's taking a little bit to load. In the interest of time, I won't wait. But if you see that there, you might see how to add audio to a presentation. Is it going to go? It might be taking a bit. I have a lot of tabs open, but it will walk you through in those videos, like one I just created, will be waiting there for you. So there might be some already built into the tools you already know and love. How cool is that? So those are the Chrome extensions. They're certainly not all the Chrome extensions I use. If you go into my personal account, I have dozens. I probably have more than 50 of them that I just absolutely love and that I use on the regular. But I find that these ones, given what we're doing currently in our day-to-day, especially if we're hybrid or virtual or maybe having kids who are in isolation of some sort, these are the ones that I find the most helpful. So I hope you do too. Okay, so we've talked about Chrome extensions. We've talked about making sure that we have just, we're not cross-contaminating our accounts. Let's move on to Toby Mini. Toby Mini is probably my favorite Chrome extension, which is why I gave it its whole own other place to live. It's a tab management tool, and it saves things in collections so you can easily access it in one place. This is Toby Mini right here. So if I click this, it will say, hey, here's all the collections that you have. And if I say, hey, add this to back to school, all of a sudden, this website will be saved in that collection. Well, what does that look like? If you go to Open Toby, it will open your Toby for you. I tend to keep it open at all times. And here it is. It says, okay, this is Jen's Toby. You can have multiple spaces. And these are all the collections that I have. So I'm going to collapse them all. You'll notice for this account, it's something important tabs. So if Chrome were to totally shut down and like, oh, shoot, what are the ones I always have open? I can click this, my inbox. And I usually have, I didn't put it. Look at this. I'm going to put it now. I usually have my Google Drive. There we go. And Google Hangouts. Those are the three that I need open for this account. And what could I do? Just by opening Mini, if I say open tabs, if I click that, watch what happens to the very, you know what? I got to close some of these. This is insane. This is insanity what's going on here, my friends, with all of these Chrome tabs open. Look at all these tabs. Oh my goodness. You know what? I should show you group tabs, but we'll do that later if we have time. We'll see, maybe at the end. If not, check it out because it's cool. Okay, so anyway, I think that's enough for now. I can come over here. Awesome. And if I say open tabs, watch what happens. All three of those tabs open at one time. Here is why I love this. At the beginning of class, I have a lot, I have my computer, it's hooked up if I'm showing my students things, and I might have a whole bunch of different tabs that I want to show them. Or before a presentation, this is another thing. So recently I did something on podcasting for Shake Up Learning, and I know, okay, this is my slide deck, but then I have all of these other links that I want to open. And in the moment when you're in a presentation or when you're in class, you know what happens? It lags or the internet goes down. You're like, oh goodness, I don't remember what that is. Or I have to click this link and we're waiting. I want those nanoseconds back. That's what this is all about. So what I do is I open everything and then save it into a Tobii collection so that when I go to present it at the very beginning of class, I click that open all tabs. And then as students are coming in, I can greet them while my computer does the work then to open all of those tabs. So when I actually am ready to teach, they're all ready to go, right? Amazing. So how do I create all this? First of all, let's collapse all these. Actually, you know what? Let's expand them. I'm going to show you. No, how am I going to do this? I'm going to do this in this order. To add a new collection, I can come here and I might call this period 1. Okay, this is what I'm doing in first period. And I might say, oh yeah, I want to show them this is open. So I'm going to put that there and I'm going to go here and I'm going to go here and I'm going to go, because maybe I'm showing them all these like cool Chrome extensions that I just learned about. And notice as soon as I pull them over, if they're not pinned tabs, they close up here. So this is wonderful. If you're ever at a conference yourself and learning and you open 4,000, you're like, that was awesome and I want to explore all those, but I have no idea how I'm going to remember them. Create a Tobii collection, right? Just go to that add collection button. And then as you have everything open, just bring them all over. Be like, yeah, I'm gonna explore every single one of these later. I don't know why this one keeps. Did I open it that many times? I think I might have. I can also like close things off. I'm like, oh yeah, Screencastify, we did it. Oh, I want to know about this. Awesome. And then when you're in here, I can also look here. Look. I can edit this. So I don't really care that it's from the Chrome Web Store. I can take that off, no problem. Boom. So it's just called Paint. I'm like, yeah, no, you know what? I'm gonna take out this slate one, because that was just a theme. Close it off. It's gone. It's gone. I can also say, hey friend, I just learned about all of these really cool extensions. And they're like, what are they? And I start naming them all. I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just share it with you? So I open my Tobii collection. I click this share button and it says, okay, let's create a link. I'm going to create a link. And now look what happens. If I click that link, so I email this to someone or I post it in Google Classroom, it's like, hey, here's 7 tabs that I want to share with you, all curated nicely in one neat place. Now, if the person also has Tobii, it will allow them to save this to their Tobii. So cool. I just find it such a great way to get over that tabitis. Your view can also be different. This is one thing that I like. You can have these like big cards like I have. You can make it all in a line. This is my favorite one. It's like short, or you could have them all as like cards all over the place. But yeah, this is the one that I like the look of, right? These ones I find to be a bit big, and I don't normally put any descriptions underneath, but you can. So under description, I could write annotate websites easily. If I wanted to remember what it was about, I can save that, and then that information is underneath. And depending on how what you're saving them for, this could really help. But I honestly couldn't live without Tobii. It is my number one. If someone's like, you get one tool to use for your own streaming of your workflow, what is it? I'm like, 100% it's going to be Tobii. You want Tobii Mini, not Tobii. If you download the full Tobii, it'll change, when you open a new tab and it'll take over what you have there. Tobii Mini will not do that. If you do Tobii regular, every time you open a new tab, Tobii just like this will open. If you want that, that's great. Do big Tobii, but I like Tobii Mini better. All right, that's that. And like I said, I pin my Tobii, so I'm going to open this one over here. In order to pin a tab, bonus tip here, it's so you don't recklessly close your tabs, which I tend to do. I'm a reckless closer. If you right-click on a tab, you can pin that tab. Boom, it's over there. And then in order to close it, you either have to unpin it and hit the little X or close it here. So there's no like accidental closing of it. And it also keeps those tabs pinned the next time you open Google Chrome. Okay, that's Tobii Mini. It's amazing. Now, if you also like curation, you saw that I talked a little bit about that with Tobii Mini, then you are going to love Wakelet. Wakelet has come out with a bang in the last few years into the education space as a way to create links and save content. And not only just digital bookmarking, as you may have known it from like the days of like Diigo and those kind of tools, but they do it for storytelling, and they do some really, really robust stuff. So if you head over to Wakelet, make sure you have that A there, Wakelet, you can create what they call wakes. And a wake is a collection. You know what? I might actually go into their For Educators. Give me a second. Here we go. So you can sign up, right? You sign up for free. And I'm going to sign up, of course, here live and direct with you using my Google account. And Wakelet allows you to follow different people who are creating wakes and just curate things in one place. So let's say you're following a Twitter chat. If you're really into Twitter like I am, you might be watching a Twitter chat, and you can curate, sorry about that little blip there in the radar. I had to put all my personal information. I didn't think you needed to watch all that. You can curate that Twitter chat, for example, just by saving all of those URLs. And then between each, you might put some sort of annotation, or you might document like, oh, I have this and then that. You could put titles. So to create a collection, you simply go to create new collection. You can make it look pretty by adding a cover photo. It says, okay, what kind of layout do you want? Media view, compact grid, mood board, which is sort of like very Pinteresty. I like media view. I'm going to use that. So I'm going to make it look pretty by choosing an image. There we go. Done. Here we go. So I can edit it. A little blip there. So I'm going to, let's say, choose something from library. So I can put something like that. Oh, it looks nice. These like mountains. Might be planning some sort of trip, or I might be talking about landforms if I'm a geography teacher. And so I can do this. I can just say, okay, this is land formations. Here are resources to help you understand topics in this unit. And now from here, I click the plus sign and I can paste any web address. Okay, so let's say I'm going to go to landformations.com. I don't know if that's an actual website, but we're going to pretend it is. Okay, landformations.com, and it's, let's see, does it come out? Yeah, no, I can buy the domain. Shoot. I can edit this at any point as well. I can be like, okay, that's fine. I'm like, oh, no, that's not what I meant. Let's delete that one. But I can come in here too, and I can do a whole bunch of other things. I can add just text. It doesn't need to be a link. I can add an image. I can put some sort of bookmark or upload a PDF, and I can link to different apps. So I could put that tweet in. I can put a video from Flipgrid. So you could have students create portfolios with this. I love it for that. Instead of just having this like ugly document with a bunch of, links, I can say, okay, put a link. And then afterwards, I want you to record a Flipgrid video telling me why the link above is important to this portfolio. Or take something that you've created in your Google Drive, put the link there, and then tell me why this shows growth over this term or the semester. You can link to YouTube videos, right? You can do things from your Drive and things from OneDrive. So if you're, we're not agnostic, we're a bit agnostic according to like Google or Microsoft. There's so much you can do with Wakelet. And I highly encourage you to check out Wakelet for Educators. If you go into Wakelet itself, done here. If you go into Wakelet itself, you can I can explore. And it will give you some top picks. So, okay, you want to know about some, keyboard shortcuts? Okay, yeah, let's see what my friend Paul West from Texas. Hi, Paul. We'll see what he's created here. And he's like, here's a collection of short keyboard shortcuts. And he can share those out, and you can then share them out. You can follow it. You can give him a thumbs up, right? There's a whole bunch of different things that you can do in here to curate any links that you have. And I use it a lot. One thing that I use it for is, if you're like me, you probably get a lot of emails through the day. You might see things that are interesting and you're like, oh, I really want to check that out, but I don't have time right now. How am I going to do this? I would often throw it into my Toby collection, but if I'm not on my computer, I can't do that. And what I love about Wakelet is you can access it from your mobile device. There's also a Google Chrome extension, and I have a wake called Read Later. And if I see a good article during the day, I can save it to my Read Later. And then that night, as I'm going to bed, that might be what I read. I also have one called Explore Later. So if I see a really cool resource, I'm like, oh, I'm going to dive into this next time I have some PD time. I go into that and I can save everything right where I need it. And it's really accessible, and then share it as needed. That's Wakelet. The next thing I want to share are some Google Drive tips, because I use Google Drive an awful lot. And there's certain things that I do, again, to save those nanoseconds. So I like P, V, and N. Let me show you what that means. If I come into my Google my Google Drive, not my Google Docs, my Google Drive, and I want to have a look at anything in here. I'm like, oh, what's this about? What's this Wicked Workflows? Or, oh, create your own digital breakout. If I hit the letter P, it won't do it in my things here. Let me go in here. It won't do it in that preview at the top. It'll only do it if you're in a folder. So here is my digital breakouts. I'm going to click the letter P. It will open a preview. So are you the type of person that's like, I wonder what this is, and you double click it and it opens in a new tab and you're like, oh, it's not what I want. You have to close the tab and it's constant opening and closing of tabs. You don't need to do that. Hit P, or you can right click and select preview. But right click, select preview is 2 clicks, whereas letter P is 1 touch. I'm all about the 1 touch. So in here, not only can I see what the first slide looks like, I can go to the next slides and see everything in here. If I'm like, yeah, no, this isn't the one I want, I can click this next button and it shows me the next slide deck or the next file in here. Now, it's not only files and slide decks and things. You'll see in a second. Let me see there. It opens. Here's a Google form that I created. Amazing. That is P. Love it, love it, love it, love it. You'll also know that there's 2 ways in your Google Drive that you can view files. So there's this one here, which is the grid view, and I can come up here, finger on the mouse pad, go on up, change it to list view. What are the advantages? List view, I can see the whole title. Grid view, I can get a preview of what it is, especially if I have a lot of videos or if I have a lot of slide decks. I like it for that. But putting my fingers on that trackpad and dragging up and clicking a button is a lot of work. So instead, I'm just going to hit the letter V for view, and it will automatically toggle between those 2 views for me. Love it. Here's another thing I love to do. I'm here and I have this untitled form. Well, I don't want it to be untitled. Do I need to open it up and go and tell it? No, I don't. I'm going to single click so it's selected, and then I'm going to click the letter N for name. And I'm going to call this now the birthday form, not the birthday form, the birthday form. And I click OK, and it's renamed it to the birthday form. I can rename that easily. Okay, the next one that I have here for you is easily creating new files. So if you want to create really quickly a slide or a doc or a sheet or even a site, go to a new tab and type in docs.new. Enter. Docs.new automatically creates a new Google Doc for you. What? Yeah. Slides.new, sheets.new, sites.new, all those .news will open new things for you. Now, even better than that, here's the other thing that I do. Look at this. So I'm going to, on my bookmark bar here, I am going to add a page. And it says, okay, well, what is the bookmark? Oh, no, sorry. I'm going to call this, I'm actually going to call it just docs. Okay, let's do that. Now at this point, I'm going to right click it and go to edit, and it's going to take me to this one. Well, I don't want that. I want it to go to docs.new. And look what happens. It's like, oh, okay, well with docs, now every time I click that on my bookmark bar, it will open a brand new blank Google Doc. Every time, just a new blank Google Doc. And it will be sitting waiting for me in my main Google Drive, ready to go. So no more of this going to Google Drive, clicking new, clicking docs. I don't have to do that anymore. All I need to do is click this button and off I go. I can do the same thing. I can come in here and say, okay, I'm going to add this page too. And again, I'm going to change this to slides.new. But look what I'm going to do differently this time. I'm going to leave the name blank. Okay, I'm going to leave the name blank. When I click this, what happens? Boom, it's going to open a Google Slides brand new every time. And if I know that that's what those mean, why am I going to waste that valuable real estate on my bookmark bar? I'm going to take out those names. And now I know that every time I click that docs icon, it's going to create a new Google Doc for me. Every time I click the slides icon, boom, new Google Slides. Such a time saver when we're creating documents all the time. I love that one. Okay. If you close a tab accidentally, have you ever done that? Like me, I talked earlier about the reckless closing of tabs. And you're like, close it, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to close that. Try the Command Shift T or Control Shift T from a PC, commands on a Mac. It will open the last tab. Hit those 3 keys again. It'll open the second last tab. You can keep going and going and going. This is also a really great tip. If you know there's a student who's been off task and they've quickly closed something, you can go and be like, oh, I really get that. And they think you have magical wizard powers. And you can pin tabs like I already showed you by right-clicking and pinning the tab so that you don't accidentally close those tabs. But now we know how to get around that. All right, next tip. This is the Twitter hashtag tip. So here we are, we're learning with Shake Up Learning, back to school conference. And let's say we want to tweet about it. We're like, oh, I'm doing all this really great learning with John Carippo and with Casey Bell and, with Jake Miller and with and you start naming people and you're so excited and you want to put the hashtag so that it's seen, because we know that we get traction with hashtags on social media. What do? You want to play with your keyboard shortcuts. Okay, bear with me for a second. So here we go. Here's what you have to do. Let's say I was at the SCUCISD conference and I want to put that SCUCISD and hashtag conference after every one of my tweets, but I don't have to type all of that out because nanoseconds, right? We talked about these nanoseconds. I can change it so that when I just type hashtag H, text replacement will automatically turn that hashtag H into the full hashtag SCUCISD hashtag conference. How do I do that? Depending if you're on an Android or an iOS device, this is what you do. Okay, you're going to go to settings. Then you're going to go to general, right? So the settings is the little gear on your iOS. It looks like a gear on an Android. You're going to go to language and input on your Android or general on your iPhone. Then Google Keyboard or just keyboard on your iOS. Text correction or text replacement. And then you're going to add personal dictionary or add the plus sign in the top right corner of your iOS device. The plus sign once you're in there in your Android. And then it's going to say, okay, what's your shortcut and what's your phrase? And under shortcut, you're going to put that hashtag H. And under the phrase, you're going to put everything else that you want there. And it's automatically going to replace it for you. This one is such a time saver at a conference or when you have certain things that you're tweeting about all the time. So I'm a sketchnoter, for example. So I love to use hashtag sketchnote, hashtag sketchnoting. And so I have hashtag SKN will automatically put the both of those in for me and save me a ton of time. So that's sort of it for my workflow tips. Hopefully you learned about a couple of tools or extensions or workflows that might work for you. This is the Shake Up Learning team. We'd love to work with you, and there is a link there that you can find us. We'd love to do that. And this has been Wicked Workflows. I hope that you found a new thing or two to help you save all of those nanoseconds. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.